We underwent participatory video and most significant changes approach training, which was phase 1 that took 1 week. We went out in Huruma and Deep Block area where we collected stories by asking community members to tell us their story. What has been their most significant change in their lives for the past 3 years? We recorded 4 stories and facilitated a stakeholder screening event, which happens in Huruma.
In phase 2, during our post-training activity, we went out to Shari and Kiamba, where we facilitated talking circles. We later took the data collected in phase 1 and 2 and analyzed it and made sense out of it.
We did an analysis on the various community groups we obtained data from regarding the challenges that may face them as a community. And the first and foremost, we found that there is poor leadership and poor governance. We found that with poor leadership and poor governance, they can lead to causes like unawareness and lack of insecurity, and a lot of things like alcohol and drug abuse. So another challenge we discovered from the analysis was post-election and tribalism in general, because with that we can have factors such as displacement and immigration and other family disputes. Another challenge we discovered was poverty, and with poverty we also had factors like poor lifestyle and early pregnancies, which is a huge challenge within the society. Lastly, we found education as a big challenge. It was insufficient because it was a lot of illiteracy within the community, and that will bring factors such as negative mindset and withdrawal among community members.
After we did a deep analysis of the limiting factors affecting the community from progressing, we later on come to discover that some NGOs chipped in to help the communities. And some of the NGOs that chipped in were IOM and Rural Women Peacebuilding. Local authorities also were there for the communities. There were stakeholders, the border sectors, the community health volunteers, together with public health officers. So these are some of the enabling factors that enabled the community to maybe see some change in their communities. There was hard work, there was risk-taking, some of the attributes and the virtues that actually came through from the deep analysis of the limiting factors. The community now came up with empowerment programs. They started saving, taking soft loans. The security was enhanced in the community. There was conducive environment for the community to start their business. That is after they've now been empowered. And the education still, from the analysis at first point, we came to realize that the poverty level was very high. There was lack of education in the community, but after analyzing the enabling factors, we came to realize that at some point the community were now empowered, and education was one of the basic factors that was very evident in the second part of this analysis. And from the limiting factors, and after the community were now empowered, we came to realize a change in that community. And one of the significant changes in that community now, we had peace, and the community were now unified. There's a lot of togetherness in the community. The community now could now accommodate each other. Cases of ethnic in the community were very minimal. So because there was transparency, there was progressive peace building in that community. After scrutinizing the data we got from the community, we realized there was significant change in that community. At this point, we realized the community were now unified, and there was chances of having ethnicity in the community was very, very minimal, because they could enhance ethnic tolerance in that community. There was a lot of progressive peace building in that community. There was togetherness, forgiveness, and reconciliation were very, very evident from the data we got from that community. Courtesy of intervention by the NGO and the government stakeholders, we found Rural Women Peacebuilding were there for the community in terms of peace building and conflict reconciliation in that community. At some point from the data we got, we come to realize the community were now empowered, and we had the cases like Mamamboga, the border sector. They were now very smart. They could now open businesses, they could now start saving, and basically to raise the living standard in that community. There was also creation of good rapport between the community leaders and the community members. That was actually to ease the access to information by the community and the leaders. We had virtues such as respect, self-esteem, loyalty, and faithfulness. And people now reform. Most of these people who are affected by post-election violence, they had a lot of negativity and negative mindset, but at some point from the data we got, we now found that the people were now reformed and the cases of forgiveness were very, very evident from the data we got. Sports and exhibition was very evident again. We found there was intertribal competition. This was there to enhance peace in that community. From the data we got, we came to realize there was significant development in that area as we speak now. That is basically from Jasho and Huruma. And we found that cases to do with transport, electricity, and education were now enhanced. People could now go to school today, courtesy of intervention by the stakeholders and the NGOs in that community. There was improved infrastructure. The roads were now accessible, the drainage were now met, and the people now could now navigate in that area very, very easily. There was improved health sector. We came to realize from the data we got that at some point there was a health facility that was built in that area, courtesy of intervention from the RWPL Peacebuilding and the other stakeholders. There was a case of Jiga infestation in that area at some point, but from the collaboration between the CHVs and the public health officers, the issue to do with the Jiga were now something of the past. As we speak today, the community is well, and development in that community is at the standstill. Thank you very much.
During the post-training that we have done this year, this 2024, we went and visited 2 areas. The first area was in Huruma, the area known as Shauri, and another area was in Deep Block, the area known as Kiamba. These 2 areas, we went there during this second phase because there was the first phase we did not went there. So there is a lot that we achieved there through their stories because we went there to listen from their stories and to learn more about what they are going through and how it was before. So we went to Shauri and Kiamba. Those 2 areas, there is a lot that we realized because we had bloggers that restricted them to do a lot in that particular area. So some of them we had like tribalism and violence. That was one of the key things that was there. That under tribalism and violence, we realized that there was land disputes. We had post-election, we had hopelessness, the clashes were all over. So that area was definitely destroyed with a lot of things. Then we had poor leadership. Poor leadership we encountered from their conversation. So through poor leadership, we realized that there was poverty. Then we had illiteracy among community members. Then we had a lot of diseases. So most people, because of poor leadership, there was a lot of diseases and illiteracy, poverty, laziness. And then we had gender inferiority. Alcohol was rampant all over. People, they were busy doing what they can do. And another thing, we realized that there was lack of education. In those particular areas, that is Kiamba and Shauri, there was a lot of illiteracy among people living there. So we had things like social class, we had stubborn and bad behavior among the youth, and many, many things. We had crime all over in those 2 areas. Crime was all over. People, because they have nothing they are doing. So murderers, they are all over. We had violence among youth and among the whole community. Then another thing, we had those things that enable this community at least to move to some extent. There was a family. Family is the unity among the family members. Like you can have unity with your grandmother, your mother, your father. So through that there was associates. So those are peer pressure groups. So those people that you mingle with that can create to something positive in your mind or in your living surrounding. So from friends, something like that. And then we had employment among community members. This employment was created by hard work among those people living in that particular area. So hard work was among the things that they were focusing on. And then they were risk takers. Actually, most of them, they practiced what they had never done before. So through that, it enabled them to do a lot, at least better than the way life was before. In these 2 areas, Shauri and Kiamba, there was not a lot of most significant changes when you compare phase 2 with phase 1. So this phase 2, that happened in Kiamba and Shauri, we had very few significant changes. We had virtues and attributes, and under virtues and attributes, there was a lot of confidence and aggressiveness in those people living in that particular community. And then we had community empowerment and initiatives. Because most people they had some ideas about what they should do. There was some youth and women, men, they decided to think about their tomorrow. So they had vision about tomorrow. Some of them began saving their money in small banks, these community groups, and saving in banks. Another thing that happened, we had source of employment. There was increase in source of employment among youths and the whole community at large. So generally, the significant changes in these particular areas, it was not that much when we compare with phase 1 between Huruma and the other side of D block. Thank you so much.
After the analysis of the data that we have done, we have come to conclusions. One of them is that community members are now able to engage county government and advocate for services. Number 2 is that security, health, and education has been enhanced amongst the community that the NGOs were involved in. And the third thing is that stakeholders' collaboration has been also enhanced.
Another conclusion from the analyzed data is that communities reached by the project in Huruma plus D block have been able to heal from post-election effect. And also communities reached by the project shows more changes compared to the communities not reached by the project. Thank you.
After collecting data from phase 1 and 2, we did analysis and came up with the following recommendations. 1, rural women peace link to expand the project to areas not reached out in the communities if resources are available. Number 2, there is need to create platforms for communities to engage county and central government for better local development. Number 3, rural women peace link to explore ways to conduct community screening of recorded stories. Number 4, explore adding livelihood, activities and opportunities for similar projects in future. Thank you.